Presented by Listen Headlines, latest world news from trusted sources. Updating daily at 6 a.m. New York.
Mirror World News.
March 11. 3:27 America, New York. Police told Hamburg gunman could be dangerous weeks before deadly shooting that killed 6. Philip F., 35, shot dead 7 people before he was found dead after police in Hamburg, Germany, confirmed many more had been injured after an attack in a Jehovah's Witness church.
Washington Post World.
March 11. 3:22 America, New York. South Korea proposes a 69-hour workweek, up from an already long 52. As some other countries consider lowering work weeks to 4 days, South Korea is looking in the opposite direction.
New York Times World News.
March 11. 3:02 America, New York. In World Cup run-up, Qatar pressed UN agency not to investigate abuses. Lobbying at the International Labour Organization dovetailed with an influence campaign that sparked a corruption scandal at the European Parliament. A worker during the World Cup in November in Doha, Qatar.
New York Times World News.
March 11. 3 o'clock America, New York. For Palestinian tech worker in Israel, pride, frustration and 4-hour commute. Moha al-Shawamra is among the few Palestinians who work in Israel's tech industry. His commute shows both the inequities of life in the West Bank and an exception to them. Moha al-Shawamra in his village, Deir al-Asal al-Faka.
Mirror World News.
March 11. 2:24 America, New York. Terrifying moment, Japan tsunami flattened entire towns and villages as it burst banks. Footage of the catastrophe shows an entire ocean climb 132 feet in the air before coming crashing back down on residential areas in Fukushima Prefecture, which is around 160 miles northeast of Tokyo.
BBC News World.
March 10, 23:59 America, New York. Li Chang. China elects Xi Jinping ally as premier. Li Chang received almost every vote from more than 2,900 delegates at the rubber stamp parliament.
RT World News.
March 10, 23:51 America, New York. U.S. Congress greenlights COVID origins report. If the bill is enacted, intelligence officials would be required to forward a declassified report to lawmakers within 90 days.
RT World News.
March 10, 22:54 America, New York. U.S. worsening Syria's humanitarian disaster. China. Beijing accused Washington of indiscriminate attacks, resulting in civilian deaths in Syria. The United States' illegal, military occupation of Syria has only deepened the country's humanitarian crisis, China has said, slamming American lawmakers after they voted to continue U.S. troop deployments there.
The Washington Times stories. Advocacy.
March 10, 2209 America, New York. China names Li Chang premier nominally in charge of economy. China on Saturday named Li Chang, a close confidant of top leader Xi Jinping, as the country's next premier nominally in charge of the world's second-largest economy now facing some of its worst prospects in years.
New York Times World News. March 10, 2205 America, New York. Biden expected to move ahead on a major oil project in Alaska. The decision would allow an enormous $8 billion drilling project in the largest expanse of pristine wilderness in the United States. Activists gathered outside the White House this month to call on President Biden to halt the Willow Project in Alaska.
BBC News World.
March 10, 21:55 America, New York. Tiger Woods denies he had a tenancy deal with ex-girlfriend. Lawyers for the golfer argue Erica Herman was a guest who had been invited to stay with him.
https://globalnews.ca/feed/.
March 10, 21:51 America, New York. Gazizov, Cowan have big games in London Knights 5-4 win over Sudbury Wolves. The London Knights earned their second 5-4 win of the season over the Sudbury Wolves. London Knights.
Mirror World News.
March 10, 21:51 America, New York. Finnish model spent £3,000 on botched surgery which collapsed nose and put her out of work. Henna Havila, from Kouvola in Finland, decided to visit a clinic in Estonia as it was cheaper with more experience to have surgery to fix a bump in her nose, but turned into a horrific ordeal.